A verdict has been reached in the criminal trial of Sean Diddy Combs, with a jury finding the rap star guilty on some charges, while also acquitting him of the most serious charges he was facing. Leigh Waldman joins us from outside the Manhattan courthouse. And Leigh, this really is a mixed verdict.
It absolutely is, Cynthia. Like you mentioned, finding Sean Diddy Combs, the defendant in this case, not guilty of those most serious charges, racketeering conspiracy, or RICO, and sex trafficking, as regarding his ex-girlfriends Cassie Ventura and the woman testifying under the alias Jane, but finding him guilty of the transportation to engage in prostitution charges. When that verdict was read, there's a large crowd of people out here, mostly made up of Combs supporters. They began cheering and even at one point spraying baby oil all over one another. The jury in the federal trial of hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs has come to a verdict: guilty on 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution, but not guilty of sex trafficking and racketeering conspiracy.
Obviously, we would have liked to have seen convictions on the RICO charges and the sex trafficking charges, but Cassie prompted this investigation by the Southern District, and now Sean Combs stands before the court as a convicted felon of 2 federal crimes.
The jury heard from 34 witnesses called by the prosecution, including 2 of Combs' former girlfriends, Cassie Ventura, and a woman testifying under the alias Jane. The woman testified Combs coerced them to engage in sexual encounters referred to as freak-offs and hotel nights.
What she did was so brave and courageous.
Combs and his defense team celebrating the acquittal of the most serious charges he was facing. Combs telling his family in the courtroom, quote, "Thank you. Love you, Mom. I love you. I love you. I love you." Prosecutors have indicated they will seek incarceration during the sentencing phase of the trial. The transportation to engage in prostitution charge carries a maximum sentence of 10 years in prison. Combs has been convicted of 2 counts, so he could receive a prison sentence of up to 20 years. Combs' family members waving to cameras while leaving the courthouse after the verdict came down. Ventura's attorney celebrating the convictions.
She's moving on with her life, and I think it'll be a beautiful life with her family.
And Cynthia, what was so interesting about this mixed verdict coming down this morning, it happened less than an hour after that jury began their deliberations today. Yesterday, at the end of the day, we heard the jury was locked. They couldn't come to a decision on count 1, that racketeering conspiracy charge, but they had verdicts on 2 through 5. So it was interesting to see how quickly they were able to reconcile and come to a decision today.
Now, Leigh, can you walk us through the possible sentencing that Combs is facing? When will that happen?
So at this point, Cynthia, we're still waiting on the judge to set that sentencing date. We're expecting to hear about that later on this afternoon and hopefully to have updates for that. But the prosecution has indicated they are pushing for him to be incarcerated. This transportation to engage in prostitution charge that he was convicted on 2 counts of it carries a maximum sentence of 10 years each. So if they run one after another, he could be behind bars for 20 years. And let's remind you, he's 55 years old here, but there's no minimum sentence for that. So he could be out on time already served. So we're waiting to see how the judge rules in this case and when that sentencing hearing will actually happen. But to remind everyone, he's been in jail here in New York since September 2024 when he was arrested in New York City.
Okay, Leigh, thank you very much. And that is CNN's Leigh Waldman in Manhattan.